Welcome to the DCU Sports Grounds on the north side of Dublin. It is the Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup semi-final doubleheader of IT Carlow and Mary Immaculate College, and of course at 4 o'clock a game we'll also be bringing you live UCC against the host DCU Docus Éireann. At 2 o'clock it's IT Carlow against Mary Immaculate College, and so far Brian Hogan, formerly of UCD, and Kilkenny, the dominant feature today is the wind.
Yeah, for sure. There's a really strong breeze, or wind I suppose you call it, coming straight across the pitch. Don't think it's going to favour either side, one side over the other, particularly at the moment anyway. But it'll be interesting to see how both sides deal with it, because it's definitely coming from left to right as I'm standing here towards the Ballymun side. So yeah, it'll be interesting the first 5-10 minutes how both sides adapt to it.
Players can handle heat, they can handle rain. The one thing they cannot handle, the one thing they do not like, is wind.
Well, it's the one thing they don't like. I mean, wind really affects a hurling match. You know, I mean, rain and, as you say, heat, etc. Players can deal with it, or they get on with it. But rain or wind can really kind of impact the way I suppose you're striking the ball, the distance you're striking it, whether it hangs in the air, whether it travels further than you expect. So again, it's going to have it'd be interesting to see how the players adapt to that, and in terms of their delivery, and I suppose the ranges they're shooting from. You know, maybe 60 yards becomes, you know, it plays a lot shorter or a lot longer with this wind.
And it's swirly as well. I mean, you've done the old farmer grass in the air thing many times, and every time you've done it, the grass has gone a different direction.
Yeah, well, the one thing is consistent. I suppose it is going from left to right as I'm standing here. But yeah, some of it's gone down into that corner. Some has come straight across the pitch. So it is swirling a bit, you know. So again, it could change in the next 10-15 minutes by the time the ball throws in. And as well, there's rain on the way. And typically, you know, if you do get rain, it kind of tends to soften the wind a little bit. So maybe that I'm not
in a storm. It doesn't.
Yeah. So, but look. It could be all conditions. That's the nature of Fitzgibbon Cup hurling. You're playing in November, December, January, February, so you're going to be playing in all conditions. So the teams are just going to have to adapt to it now and get on with it.
I assume it'll come down to who can work the ball better, and maybe fitness as well, because again, in these conditions, on the slightly heavy ground, although the pitch is in great condition, that really drains teams, and in these conditions they are going to have to get close to goal. They are going to have to run it maybe that bit more. You just cannot go long in these conditions.
Yeah, look, I mean, the pitch is as good as the pitches you're going to play on at this time of year. It's in great nick. Fitness, I think, won't be a major factor. You know, I mean, a lot of these guys are playing at inter-county level, either under 20 or senior levels. So it's going to be how they use the ball and work rate ultimately. You know, which side works the hardest. You know, because, you know, possession is going to be key with this wind, etc. So how they close the opposition down. So that'll be really interesting. But look, both sides now, they're at the semi-final stage. You know, we know they're quality sides, and I don't see a huge amount between these sides. You know, I think it's going to be a really good match. I'm looking forward to it.
It should be a good match. Throwing is in a couple of minutes' time. Let's take a look at both teams. Well, Jason Gallan is a good distributor between the sticks. He's a good shot stopper as well. Ray McCormack has an outstanding season with Bird. Well, Jason Gallan is a good distributor between the sticks. He's a good shot stopper as well. Ray McCormack has an outstanding season with Bursalee as they reach the All-Ireland Club final, so it's no surprise that he starts. Tim O'Mahony of Cork is named at 7, but he'll probably drift in to the centre channel, as that is his outstanding position. It's where he is at his best. They've got some good talent in the forward line as well. Watch out for Cahill, the Offaly man. Was a goalkeeper for them last season, but he is very good from long-range shooting opportunities. Ryan O'Brien, Burke, Cooney and Ormond all capable of chipping in as well. They're a very hard-working forward unit. IT Carlow full of talent. Roland has been excellent for Laois over the last couple of years. Rec has made a bit of a name for himself playing with Wexford. What a half backline. Podge Delaney and Jason Clear very much part of that, but Niall Brazel, we've just heard, he's out, and that actually is quite a big loss. Leahy and Scanlon in midfield, well, they can get scores even against this kind of breeze. You'll know many of their forwards. Bergen got a great goal for Laois in the Joe McDonagh Cup final last year in Croke Park. Dunbar has been ripping it up for Wexford, and Liam Blanchfield very much part of Brian Cody's plans. That would be a hard forward line to stop. Well, it's sunny, but don't let that fool you. It is very, very breezy, and we expect a little bit later on it's going to get very, very wet. IT Carlow have never won an Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup, but Brian Hogan, they have got close. They have got to a final in the past. They will be really driven to get back there again, especially as their footballers reached the Sigerson Cup final and were beaten by a very good DCU Docus Éireann team here a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, Carlow IT have been, I suppose, riding the crest of a wave over the last, 5, 6, 7 years. They've made great strides at the higher levels in both the Fitzgibbon and Sigerson. As you mentioned, competing in the Sigerson final there only a couple of weeks ago. The Fitzgibbon side has been very competitive, and obviously with DJ Carey and Mick Dempsey over the team, they're going to be well prepared and extremely competitive. They're not going to be found wanting for sure. And throughout the side, they've got some really good, strong hurlers. From, and obviously heavy influence from the likes of Kilkenny.
Changes to the team. Carlow. It's going all the way wide.
Yeah, and it went right wide at the right post. It's interesting, just before the match started, I seen Tim O'Mahony practicing a few frees, and he was hitting them well far left of the post, and it ended up going wide at the far side. So there's a really strong wind pulling across the pitch here, and I suppose it's going to take a few minutes for the players just to get their range.
That's a really good catch. Coming out of defence with it is Hayes. Down the line it goes. Diarmuid Ryan. Foul committed. Keenan from Wicklow, the referee, and it will be a free into IT Carlow. Tough conditions for free takers.
It is, as I mentioned just before the match, watching one or two of the guys taking frees, and the ball is really, the wind is swirling. The ball really pulled from left to right, so it'll be interesting to see. This is the first free, to see what way they approach it, and also the puck outs. In the Roland, at the best of times, is a long puck out. It'll be interesting to see what distance he gets on them.
Seamus Casey, who has been outstanding so far. Good free. IT Carlow draw first blood.
Setting up. Here, Richie.
So this is where the wind is playing a part. Mary I are looking to try and play the ball short out of the defence and work it up, and out over the sideline for a sideline cut for Carlow IT.
We saw Jerry Kelly do it for Borrisolene. Now he's going to try and do it for IT Carlow. He's wearing the 28 jersey. That was supposed to be the jersey of Mark Slevin of Meath, but obviously Kelly is taking it and doesn't go for it. Just rolls it inside, gets it back. Here's Casey again. Casey cushions that one, struck it beautifully, used the conditions, and IT Carlow already 2 up.
Yeah, Jerry, you worked it really well there and popped it out to Casey, and nice point, and 2 points on the board already. And Jerry throwing his I suppose his physical presence around, using it well, and he's already gone on a good bit of ball with only 2 minutes gone.
Such strong conditions. Cleared by IT Carlow, who looks stronger so far. And as Brian, you've been saying, it's not like any team has the wind because it is cross field.
No, but you can see Richie tried to play the ball up the line into Casey, but the wind caught it and just pulled it out over the sideline for a sliding ball. So again, it's just trying to get used to the conditions now. And ordinarily a ball straight up the sideline, is made all the more difficult by the cross-field wind.
We are getting some breakup on pictures because of the high winds. Difficult conditions. This place, not exactly what you call set up for broadcast. They've been fantastic, they've been welcoming, but it's very, very open. As Jerry Kelly looks to open up a further lead and doesn't. So if you are getting breakup on your pictures, we apologise, but it is the fault of Mother Nature.
And again, that opportunity for Jerry Kelly, well within his range. You'd expect to pull it over, but it's the conditions. The wind is just taking that and pulled it, I'd say, about 6 or 7 foot wide.
Kelly again, he's been involved in pretty much everything.
He has.
Jason Gallan, we mentioned he was a good distributor, but once again it's IT Carlow who get under that. Chasing out is David Prendergast from Lismore in County Waterford, the home club of Dan Shanahan, now the coach of the Waterford Camogie team. Trying to drive on is Ray McCormack.
Good work by Carlow IT there, put pressure on Richie Leahy there, and I think it was, can't see, it was Jack Lacey.
Here's Owen Cahill. Has played in goal for Mary I, the Offaly man, under your teammate now, Michael Fennelly at Offaly. Doesn't really get a whole pile on that one, trying to flick it up into the hand is Burke. Ball squirts out, chasing after it is Ormond. Still with Mary I. They're still looking for their first score. That's a good interception. Coming out of defence is Delaney from Laois. Away it goes. That was a good clearance. There's Craig Morgan, who's really solid. Mary I battling here. Here's Andrew Ormond. Ormond still going. Drops off the stick, and the wind is playing a part even in stuff like that. Very hard to keep the ball on the stick. And IT Carlow are defending with great strength. It's Podge Delaney again. They'd have a bit more senior inter-county experience, IT Carlow, in their team, and you can nearly see that in the tackle already.
Yeah, I suppose it was a thing we commented on the last match we covered, which is, I think it was DCU and WIT. You know, you can spot the physical conditioning of some of the inter-county players. You know, they're just able to take the tackles that bit easier, and certainly Carlow IT have a good balance of inter-county players across the pitch.
That one doesn't go wide. IT Carlow will try and keep it in. Good tackle. Bit of a tangle, you can see the strength again, but David Prendergast, who's got a little bit of inter-county himself, trying to get it into the hand and couldn't. IT Carlow have it back. That's a chip towards the goal, a good one as well. It's Rory Higgins from Wexford, and he has put that one wide.
Set it up, Chris, set it up!
Yeah, and I suppose I thought it might start Tim Manny centre back on Jerry Kelly, but interestingly they've actually started Tim Manny full forward. He's obviously played in the forwards plenty of times for Cork and for Newtown as well, so they've opted to try and move him up the field to add a bit more presence in the forward line.
Come on, Rory!
Long ball in these conditions, always risky. Prendergast tidying it up and cushioning it out. That's a really good ball and well taken by Ray McCormack. And a foul committed on him by Richie Leahy.
I didn't see anything wrong with that, to be honest. McCormack was trying to break the tackle and Richie just stood his ground. Might see in a replay, but regardless, the ref decided it's a free in, so it's the first opportunity, I think, for us to see how Mary I deal with this swirling wind that we've.
Free in very, very tough conditions, and striking that long is Cathal Burke. Striking it wide is Cathal Burke.
Yeah, it's going to have an impact throughout both games today, and particularly for the free takers and how they manage to deal with this really strong wind.
They're having another go at it here. It is.
We got it this time.
Ryan.
It's a good score, and we'll see from Enderall now for his puck out, see what kind of distance he can get on it.
Good score from Shane Ryan.
End is nearly landed on the far full forward line.
Mary I have settled down a bit. Here's Ray McCormack. Puts it down into the path of Cathal Burke. Trying to tidy it up again is Fergal Hayes, but he couldn't. Coming back to take the line ball is Podge Delaney.
Yeah, so the feature of Carlow IT the last two games we've covered is how the defender.
Considine tops up but into a Mary I hand, and that's Sana McBride. They seem to be going to trouble.
Yeah, great.
Gary Cooney.
Great dispossession from Jason Clear. He just got the hurl in the right time, just flicked it away. As he mentioned, really good defending.
Into the hand it goes, and Seamus Casey distributes. I know you can't put Jerry Kelly everywhere, but maybe putting him in or around the 20 is the way to go in these conditions, because he will win ball.
Yeah, well, I suppose they have an equally big player in Liam Blanchfield at the edge of the square.
Well, that's a really good take. Now, can he get the finish away? Does get the shot away, but it's a weak one from Tim O'Mahony. And it was well saved, but it is a 65. So much for Tim O'Mahony drifting into the 6th channel.
Yeah. They've opted, he's a big guy, and they probably opted to try and move, have some physical presence up there. You mentioned about Jerry playing on the 40 and maybe moving him inside, but I suppose there was talk before the match whether Liam Blanchfield would be fit or not. There was rumours that he'd tweaked his hamstring during the week, but so maybe that's the reason they decided to put Blanche on the edge of the square and leave Jerry out around the half-hour line. And we've seen the damage he could do for Burst Leader in the club championship out there.
That's a really fine score by Burke, and a needed one as well. It reduces the gap to 1. We met the Armagh goalkeeper Simon Doherty earlier on. He's coaching Ulster University. They beat Queen's Belfast 20 points to 110 in the Ryan Cup semi-final. Fitzgibbon Cup semi-final action here, and coming forward and getting the ball away is Lahey, and the score will count. Advantage has been played, but it was well taken in the end.
Yeah, and that's something that Richie Lahey does really well. Coming on the shoulder for support, taking the hand pass from Casey and popping it over the bar.
It's of course the Fela weekend, where colleges from, I was going to say all over the country, but all over the world. New York were here yesterday. Teams over from England as well. John Moore's from Liverpool amongst them. It's a great weekend. It's a great festival. Shane Ryan is looking to add to it for Mary I. He's fouled on the way through, and that's a free.
Yeah, of course, it's the I think it's the first time, is it, that the final has not been played over the weekend as traditionally was. But I mean, I was fortunate. I think I got to one weekend the years I was in college, but the year we won it, obviously the foot and mouth played havoc with it. But it's a great competition, and it is a great weekend, for all the players that get here. There's a great kind of festive atmosphere, and obviously to win it is a huge achievement as well.
I'm not sure if you heard it there, but a big gust of wind hit us, and if my commentary notes end up in your back garden, because they have gone flying, can you please bring them back to me?
Once we don't end up in your back garden, because
my commentary notes are now spread into the wind all over Glasnevin and Ballymun, but I still have the team sheet, luckily enough. Popping that one over is Cathal Burke. One between them. They're actually playing quite well. They're serving up quite a decent game despite the conditions.
No, they are. I mean...
Oh, Tim O'Mahony looks like he's after dispossessing on the far side. He's making that ball stick. IT Carlow defending in numbers and getting back. Enda Rowland.
He slipped.
He's able to get it away to Harney of Waterford. And sometimes you have no choice but to go long, and Jerry Kelly was waiting for it. Kelly adding to it, but waiting for it as David Prendergast does break it, but not to the man he was looking to break it to. Trying to slip his teammate in was Liam Blanchfield, but he just couldn't get that hand pass away. Jason Gallan sending it down the park. Aaron Gallan, of course, a student of Mary I last year. They got to the final, well beaten by UCC. Gary Cooney releasing that one.
Gone wide. Great work out of Jerry Kelly. You can see he's lying out centre forward, but he was back there in his own right half back position, tracking back, putting him under pressure. Between himself and Jason Keir, they did enough to force the ball wide. But I know, we've referenced a couple of times the wind, but you really can't overemphasize how the strength of this wind here today. And as you mentioned, both sides are dealing with it pretty well at the moment. It's been a good open game of hurling, and I suppose the semi-final stage are two quality sides. It's good to see how that they are dealing with the conditions.
Well, this place is very, very open, so it's breezy at the best of times, so you can imagine what it's like. And I know that people might think we're banging on about it, but it is such a dominating factor. Here's Scanlon. He hopes to be a dominating factor. That's a tough one to get. If he gets it off the stick, he doesn't. And again, here I go again. It was the wind that kind of took it off frame.
Yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the angle was tight and it was off the hurl, and maybe be as well try and play across the goal, but look, he was entitled to go for it. He had done well to get down the line, and the wind pulled it to the far side of the goal and wide. Scramble
on, was that a frontal charge? Referee says no. tidying it up and getting it into the hand with Colin O'Brien. Tidy corner forward, Andrew Ormond. That's a little bit wild and it will be a free in.
Yeah,
last thing you want to do is pick up a card this early or something worse.
Rash pull out of Richie, and look, Richie got sent off in the first round of the National League with Kenny, and you know, it's probably no need for just get the hurl and get a sneak to it, as you'd say, but it's a free in now from Mary I, and Richie just needs to tighten up on that a little bit.
Oof. Tighten up on it a good bit by the look of that tackle. There's no doubting his talent, though. There is absolutely no doubting his talent. Cathal Burke. Cathal Burke, not only against IT Carlow, but against the Elements, puts it over. Good score.
Yeah, and he's striking through the ball and trying to keep it relatively low so that the impact of the wind is negated a little bit.
You were watching the warm-ups, and guys normally who would pop them over from the 65s were barely reaching the goal or putting it into the corner, not on purpose. Prendergast slots it down to Colin O'Brien. Will be tidied up by Shane Reck. Enda Rowland.
You'd like to see Tim a little bit more aggressive under that ball. I mean, you know, he's in there at the edge of the square to do a job, and you know, Mary I need him winning ball and holding it in there. That's a great score.
That is a fantastic score. It came from Gary Cooney from Clare.
Yeah, again, that's maybe where the wind. If you can read. Enda Rowland's puckouts are, you know, huge at the best of times, but he's landing them almost on the Mary I full back line. It's a great asset to have for Carlow IT there. If they want to go long or go short, he's well capable of doing either.
Oh, there's a fumble. Fergal Hayes tidies it up well, gets it back to the goalkeeper. Awkward little bounce. That wind is getting stronger by the minute.
David Prendergast has started well from Mary I as well. A full back, he's come out with a number of balls there. You know, he's playing well.
Tim O'Mahony does well, pickpockets his man. Gary Cooney tries to roll it up. It is Gary Cooney who's still going, gets the ball away. Oh, it's wide.
A hard look. We see it again on the replay.
Well, much credit there to Gary Cooney, who didn't give up on it.
Yeah, Gary Cooney did really well. Just couldn't direct the ball into the net. Unfortunate, but great work out Gary Cooney, and real direct running. Carlow IT guy down injured at the moment. Can't see who it is. But you can see the selectors, you know, from both sides in on the pitch, talking to the players during the break and playing, and probably, you know, trying to have a word with them in terms of how to use the ball and just getting words of, you know, getting information into them. But I think the Carlow IT.
IT Carlow with a spread of players from the southeast: Kilkenny, Carlow, Laois, Waterford, Tipperary. Now on the move is Rory Higgins, who got 2 goals in the quarter-final. Scanlon doesn't look the biggest, but he is strong and he is skillful. It's 2-on-1 inside there, and it's won by David Prendergast.
Yeah, he's been in with Kilkenny for the last two seasons anyway, you know, so he's well able to manage the physical side of it. But his big asset it would be his pace, you know, himself and Richie Lackey midfield, loads of running in them.
Bit of a loose tackle from Colin O'Brien. You can see that Gary Cooney is a bit of a thorn in the side of the IT Carlow defence, working hard for everything, but it will be a free out to IT Carlow.
Yeah, they're bringing Enda Rowland just coming out to take this, and the way he's striking the ball, he certainly have the range. Whether he can manage the wind to get the direction on it now.
On a normal day, he could score this.
Yeah, well, we saw him down in Carlow IT against GMIT, and he got 1 or 2 long range frees, and we've obviously seen him do it for Laois, so he is capable of doing it, but he's decided to go.
That ball could end up in Kansas.
Yeah. It's
wouldn't be a bad place to be given their Super Bowl success last week. Chasing after it now is Chris Nolan, but that'll tell you how strong the wind is. Here's Chris Nolan of Carlow. Nolan. No. Again, I know he was falling away. I know he was going away from goal, but normally that is a 9 out of 10 shot for Nolan.
Take into account the wind and shots that were gimmies maybe other days are not so on days like today, but great dispossession there by Luke Scanlon, and Richie Lahey's the ball. It's a needless free now from Mary I.
And a bit of needle afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's Ray McCormack know he's there.
No need, just put the ball down and get on with it, you know, from Richie. I don't know what he's trying to do there, but anyway, it's Casey will come out for this now. He's been very good from the frees in a couple of games we've seen him, but no, they've actually decided to bring it at the end of the road and they'll come out. So again,
I will stop now. Enda Rowland.
He's got it. Yeah,
oh, that's fantastic. A really good score by the Laois goalkeeper. Gillan. Looks like he's going to go and just give this one plenty. The rain beginning to fall.
Yeah, pushing the back, free in. You know, the other side of it is with the wind the way it is and the strength it is, when you do hit the ball long, the flight path of the ball is hard to read because the ball, you know, it hangs and it can move a bit in the air. So if you are going up to try and, you know, for a high ball contest it, be a catch it or whatever, it is more difficult, I suppose, just to read that flight. And you can see it there possibly, you know, as a push in the back, maybe over, just getting your positioning wrong, maybe the ball travelling a little bit further than you expected and then ended up fouling the man.
Mary I take the lead. That was a really good strike again from Cathal Burke. Coming in to try and win it there was Liam Blanchfield, or I beg your pardon, was it Cathal Dunbar? It was Cathal Dunbar.
And wide again, the right side from Jerry.
He's been probably told shoot on sight. It's what he does really well.
Whether it's been told or not, he's doing it anyway. But yeah, he needs to start pulling it a bit more left of the post because the wind is catching it every time.
Bounces into the path.
Dermot Ryan and
Gary Cooney. Neat little turn. Is it matched by a neat little finish? Fantastic.
Yeah.
They found the rhythm of it, Mary I.
Yeah. And Dermot Ryan started centre back on Jerry Kelly, but he seems to be playing midfield now. Whether they've pushed him up or he's just tracked.
Delaney. That'll drop.
Dunbar onto the ball.
Oh, what
what
a
a
finish
goal!
by Cathal Dunbar!
What a goal. We've seen him do that in previous match as well, where he scored a goal from a really tight angle. But didn't really look like there was a whole lot on. It was a good ball from Podge Delaney into space, and Cathal Dunbar got onto a fantastic finish, straight across the face of the goal into the top corner.
An absolute rocket. The keeper could do nothing to stop that.
Yeah, power and accuracy. There's not much the goalie could do about that one. And we know that that's in that Dunbar is capable of doing that. We've seen him in previous games. I think against GMIT again, he scored a cracker of a goal in a similar position.
Mary I trying to do their best to get an instant response, but Harney gathers. Dunbar after it again, beaten to it this time by Craig Morgan. But IT Carlow have turned it over, and I think that's Dunbar again. Wide.
Yeah, really ambitious at the best of times. I think maybe a rush of blood to the head after scoring the goal. But that's what they need to do more of. The likes of the ball from Podge Delaney, just pop it into space, pop it into the guys inside, rather than forcing the issue by trying to shoot from out the sideline with this wind. Let's try and play it into the better positions.
IT Carlow with the man down. Fergal Hayes was down a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, it seems to be a shoulder injury. He's there's an AC joint or He's definitely in a bit of bother anyway. It's actually, is it Jason Clear is down this time? It is Jason.
That's right. And it's Bridgeman.
He seems all right.
Takes a lot to keep those Bennett's Bridge boys down as Galan goes long. And nothing he could do to stop that goal. Great catch. Jerry Kelly after it again. In hot pursuit of him is Josh Considine. Kelly turns well. Is it fair to say he kind of won that free? He wrapped Considine up in him?
He absolutely did. But look, fair play to him. You know, he's entitled to do that. I suppose Ryan left the hurl in. We've seen so many players do it. I suppose Owen Larkin was one of the best exponents of it, where, you know, as a defender, if you leave your hurl in there, you're leaving it open for the forward to grab it, hold it, and pull himself down, and then win the free. Frustrating as a back, but you know, the ref is going to give it every time.
So Roland, who has scored from a similar range already, going for it again. It looks like it has the distance.
That's a super point.
That is magnificent in these conditions.
And he's just in front of us taking that, and it looked from that angle like he'd hit it certainly left of the goal altogether, and, you know, and the wind just brought it back in. It was a really good score.
Fantastic score.
It's a huge advantage, you know, to have, as a team, you know, to have a keeper who's capable of coming up and taking those long range frees.
Galan. That's well taken. Nice turn by Craig Morgan. Ran into a bit of trouble. IT Carlow dispossessing Mary I again and winning the free.
Came off the worst of it. He got 4 or 5 of them around the ball there. You know, hunting the packs, which is exactly what you want to see. And I think it was Craig Morgan just got boxed out of it, ended up throwing a kind of a blind hand pass back to Tim O'Mahony, and Carlow IT were just more aggressive on the ball here. And again, they now have an opportunity with Enda Rowland coming out to take this free.
Enda Rowland this time from the other side. Laois have lost their 2 games in the league so far, but they have put up big scores. Enda Rowland wide this time, but worth the punt.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell how far wide it was, but the umpires seemed to be...
They had a look at it, didn't they?
They were thinking about it for a second, so it's obviously pretty tight. And look, he was well entitled to go for it. He's got a few of them already.
This is the first of 2 games, weather permitting. Coming up at 4 o'clock as the hurley is dropped and dispossessed illegally. Yeah, O'Mahony making a nuisance of himself. It's a free in for Mary.
Yeah, they brought Tim back out from full forward, out to wing forward, as looking for him for the puck outs. You know, they're going to look to him, you know, for a bit of leadership up front. You know, as I said, he's a big guy. You just need him to throw himself around a little bit more, you know.
Well, as you've just seen there, at 4 o'clock, we're on air at 5 to 4, of course, for UCC against DCU Docus Éireann. Owen Roach, the manager of DCU, the former Limerick under-21 player, wouldn't be drawn on whether or not it was a rematch or a grudge match, given that those two met at this stage last year, and UCC won a very tight game. And Mary I make this one a little bit tighter with a really fine strike again from Cathal Burke.
To be fair, the free takers, both Casey and O'Rourke and Rowland, have dealt with, you know, done really well with the conditions there. Our little hut is nearly going to take off here in a minute. Oh, it's a great score by Richie Lahey, and typical, if you like, a typical Richie Lahey score where he's coming, you know, comes down on one of his mazy runs, collects the ball, and just, you know, off the left side over the bar.
Lovely stuff by Lahey. 2 minutes to the break. There'll probably be a minute or 2 of injury time because we did have a couple of injury stoppages as Galan sends this one long.
It's gone long again on top to O'Mahony, who's 3-4 Carlow IT players around him. Richie Lahey's onto the break.
And now it's tidied up really well by Downey. But the referee says he overcarries and it's a free in. was talking to someone before the game and I said it's too cold for extra time. Sod's Law dictates that there'll be extra time in both games now, doesn't it?
Why not you? I'm just doing one of them. If you
Nicky English along for that second game that we told you about a couple of minutes ago.
I'll send up a cup of tea to you.
Cathal Burke standing over this one like a golfer. Nicky English himself a keen golfer. Wasn't a bad hurler either, like yourself, Brian. Granted at the other end of the pitch, and that is another cracking strike. Nicky English would be happy with that, watching his fellow Tipperary man Cathal Burke sail that one over.
Podgeleni's free here in the side and is off to go to the other side of the pitch. Down top of Jerry Kelly.
Scanlon tries to run onto it, scoops it, but it's intercepted by Prendergast.
Oh,
Loose stick pass, and then again is Cathal Dunbar. Dunbar, this time it might be Blanchfield. Tim O'Mahony.
crazy pass back into the middle of the pitch.
O'Mahony just launches it because there were no other options. But is there a free? The referee is saying 65, yeah. He took a couple of seconds to decide, had to think about it.
Yeah, it was a clash of the ash, and I think he just decided.
It's always hard with those clashes. You're never sure if the ball was actually touched.
I'd be inclined to think there wasn't really any contact. It seemed to be more the two hurls clash, and
because if he touched the ball, it wouldn't have taken off the way it did. The trajectory of the ball suggested it wasn't touched. But that's very easy for us to say because we have the benefit of being able to watch it on a screen. And we're actually at a better angle for that particular moment than the referee.
He still has to put it over the bar here, and in these conditions, that's no given.
Gets plenty of height on it.
That's a great score.
Oh, that's fantastic, because it's really hard to judge.
He's been outstanding in the first half in frees, and this time of year, we've mentioned before, having a good free taker is so crucial. And to be fair, the guys here today have been excellent.
That's well gathered. Mary I looking to go in front at break time. Diarmuid Ryan down towards Tim O'Mahony. Great catch by Tim O'Mahony. There's no support around him. He has to do it all himself. Oh. Good save, but the free is coming.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're looking for from Tim O'Mahony, and that's why they've put him up there, is to offer that outlet when they go for a long ball. As I mentioned, he's a big guy. He's physically strong, well capable of doing this. And I suppose Carlow had no option but to pull him down.
And he's saying it was in the square, and this is where the whole black card stroke, should you give a penalty for any of those kind of incidents, debate comes in. It is a yellow card, but I'm sure that Mary I would much rather a penalty or him going off for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a debate for a different day, but that's actually nearly a poster child of
Sean Downey
what you can use.
Has been very good for Carlow IT over the Fitzgibbon campaign. He's been very impressive, and as you say, I'm sure Mary I would have been happy to see him go off the pitch for a little while.
Or get a penalty.
Or a penalty, exactly.
They'll take the free, and they'll probably take a lead in at the break. It is, once again, a fantastic strike from Cathal Burke. Well, Cathal Burke has been excellent for Mary I. I'd love to tell you how many he scored, but the notes I was taking literally blew away halfway through the half. UCC against DCU coming up, as we say, a little bit later on, but at the moment in this game at half-time, it is Mary Immaculate College of Limerick 11 points, IT Carlow 1-7. Brian, what did you make of it? It really, I suppose, as we expected at the beginning of the match, a really evenly contested first half. There's not much between the two sides. Interestingly, I thought Carlow IT played more of the hurling, but Mary I, stuck in there. I suppose through the free taking primarily of Cathal Burke. But and they've gone in a point up. But it's all to play for. I mean, there's some fine scores with the conditions, all things considered. And we're just looking in the replay here, the goal from Cathal Dunbar. A super strike. And I thought that would have been possibly the impetus for Carlow IT to push on from there. But Mary I responded well. And as you mentioned, have gone in with a point up. Well, that was a fantastic score. Enda Rowland has got a few scores as well. The IT Carlow goalkeeper, we know he can strike them from long range, even in really breezy conditions. Yeah, look, at this time of year, and any time of year, having a good free taker is crucial. But particularly if it's given where you can come up against any type of conditions, but to have a guy then who can put them over from that distance is massive. And as we mentioned already, Cathal Burke
at the other end for Mary I has been outstanding from frees.
Now, should they have had a penalty? No, it was well outside the square.
Outside.
Yeah, well outside the square.
Yeah, but you'd like to see more of that from Tim O'Mahony, you know. Again, they have obviously, that's why they selected him. We thought he'd be at centre back, and that's why they selected him at the edge of the square full forward for that very reason.
Well, the dominating factor has been the strong breeze. As you're well aware at this stage, a storm literally is coming. But despite that, the two teams have served up a really good game so far. Half-time in the first of today's Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup semi-finals. It is Mary Immaculate College of Limerick 11 points, IT Carlow 1-7. We'll be back shortly.
Carlow number 3 has changed his jersey for a good sum. He's wearing number 7. And he's on, yeah, just in case. Yeah.
Welcome back to the DCU Sports Grounds for this Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup semi-final between Mary Immaculate College and IT Carlow. It's Féile weekend here at the DCU Sports Grounds, and what a fantastic job they have done in really tough conditions. The conditions are causing all sorts of problems for everyone out here today, including the teams, the players, selectors, those who are working here, and our satellites. So if you do get picture breakup, it is because of the high winds, and there's not much we can do about it, but we will stick with you as long as you will stick with us. Brian Hogan, you haven't blown away at half-time, you're still here. Of course, a Fitzgibbon Cup winner with UCD and an All-Ireland winner on many occasions with Kilkenny. What are you expecting in the second half as Enda Rowland comes trotting out to strike another long ranger? He got 2 in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've obviously mentioned several occasions the conditions and the wind in particular, and how that's impacting the game, but both teams have done pretty well to deal with it. Carlow, I would imagine, are a bit disappointed to go in a half-time point down, considering they'd done a lot of the hurling in the first half. but they'll be looking to start strong. That's gone well wide from Enda Rowland. That free
tailed off. It started on frame and then it tailed off.
Yeah, but that's the wind. You know, he's dealt with it really well in the first half. I suppose he's just trying to find his range in the second half now with the winds coming back across the pitch here. But yeah, look, I mean, Mary stayed well in the match, stayed in it through the freeze primarily of Cathal Burke, who's been outstanding from place balls, particularly in these conditions. So I'm sure Carlow IT will look to push on now in the second half and try and, you know, re-establish a lead.
Ball flighted long from Jason Gallan. Going up to try and fetch it with Shane Ryan. It's IT Carlow again who've won it. They've been very strong in that half back line. It is Richie Lahey. Gets it back there to Casey, who's been relatively quiet in a scoring sense so far, but he makes some noise there.
Yeah, and if you mentioned that Cathal Burke was outstanding for Mary in the first half, Casey's been equally so at the other end for Carlow IT from place balls. But that was a beautiful point. You know, he just took the pass from Richie Lahey and just stroked it over and let the wind do the work and straight over the bar.
You're walking hard, no, you're walking hard.
Now watching, Colin O'Brien made it kind of a dart out the Liscarroll Churchtown Gales man at a Cork club. IT Carlow trying to get in under it again to Higgins. Higgins has a pull.
Or was it did he just fail to make connection with the ball? But it was a good opportunity there.
It was a hook. I think he got something in there.
Yeah, you might see it in the replay. It was a super piece of defending.
Ray McCormack couldn't get the ball into the hand. The pitch, by the way, in absolutely perfect condition. This is a really well kept surface and it's improved so much over the years.
Yeah, it's
Shane Ryan.
Fantastic pitch.
Shane Ryan. Wide.
Yeah, no, the pitch is in great condition, you know. I mean, for this time of year, with the conditions, etc., you couldn't ask for better, really. But again, another wide for Mary I this time, and both sides just trying to again get used to conditions at the other ends of the field.
Jerry Kelly couldn't get it first time. Higgins is away here. Higgins bearing in a goal, loses it off the stick under pressure from Diarmuid Ryan of Cracklow. Jerry Kelly goes to ground. Referee isn't budged by it at all. And the ball has gone out over the line.
Yeah, Jerry Kelly's gone down holding his head. It's like he got a strike. Nash Mazel. And
well, let's have a look. Jerry Kelly is number 28. That's.
Let's see anything. See again now. He's certainly got a bang, because in fairness to him,
he doesn't.
He's not the kind of guy to go down easy, you know. So it seemed to be, you know, David Prendergast and Lissamora was kind of standing over him after having a few words. Okay, yeah, there was something there. We were blocked by Jerry Kelly himself, but certainly Prendergast does turn around and there's some sort of action. It's hard to say what it is.
I think it was whatever way Prendergast turned his shoulder into him. I don't think it was anything vicious. I don't think it was a strike.
Yeah.
From what we could see there, anyway.
But he certainly caught him anyway, just on the bridge of the nose there. But look, I'm sure he'll be all right. He's a
tough guy, Jerry Kelly.
Kelly, come here first. Hey, no, come here first.
Sliding ball for Richie Lahey here, and Richie's, you know, well capable of striking these balls. So linesman just telling him to bring it back a bit, trying to steal it 1 or 2 yards.
Richie Lahey, Roaring the Stieg. Off the stick of his own man Seamus Casey, guided forward by Dunbar, but Mary I swarm around. Won back brilliantly by Harney from Waterford.
The way he ball it, sure who that was, but it was just, he just kind of snatched at it. Never looked like he was comfortable.
Well, Liam Blanchfield inside was really frustrated. He kind of threw his arms out as if to say, what was that?
Yeah.
Little shoulder in there from Fergal Hayes before the ball arrived. Now he has the chance to, took his eye off it. Burke.
Great play by Padge Delaney there. He won the ball, drew in the two forwards and popped the ball off. It was dropped and then recovered and got a great hook in there.
Extra time if required today, by the way. Great strike by Podge Delaney. You can hear his teammates congratulate him, but it's now back into the path of a Mary I man, and that man is Éanna McBride. Shane Reck under pressure from Tim O'Mahony. Now adding to that pressure is Ormond. Gets it back to Rowland. Jerry Kelly under it again. Really well policed by Dermot Ryan. These scrambles commonplace in Fitzgibbon Cup hurling, but IT Carlow had the free as Scanlon escaped with it.
Yeah, the ref had his hand up, he was playing advantage. And Scanlon wasn't really getting away, so he's blown the free now, and an opportunity for possibly Enda Rowland to come out and take this. Casey is standing there. It looks like he's going to try and take it on.
And Casey, a good free taker as well, took one in the first half.
Yeah, he turned away one in the first half from a similar position and allowed Enda Rowland to come out and take it. Felt it possibly wasn't within his range with these conditions, but he's decided to take this one on himself and see how he fares out.
Seamus Casey.
He's got the distance anyway. Great score.
Brilliant from Casey. Nothing is easy in these conditions.
No, a really good score. He put it to the right side of the post of the goal, and it just allowed the winds just to bring it back in and over the bar.
O'Brien.
Yeah, good run from Colin O'Brien from the far side of the pitch into space in the half forward line, and he's found by Galan.
Yeah, but Harney swept it up and then gave it to Delaney, and Delaney has delivered it long. Prendergast out to meet it. Really strong defending.
Yeah, he's played
David Prendergast.
He's played well. He's come out with a number of really good balls there in the first half, and he started the second half strongly as well.
Craig Morgan tried to come out of defence. He's fouled. And it will be a free to Mary Immaculate College. Couldn't escape Dunbar. And then is that Blanchfield having a little go? It is. But don't forget, coming up at 4 o'clock, the Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup semi-final number 2, DCU Docus Éireann against UCC. We're on air at 5 to 4, but the game itself starts at 4. Cathal Burke. The free was brought forward. Will that be a help?
It's a great score.
Yes.
Again, you just can't emphasise enough, the conditions and how good the free taking is being, considering the wind that's here. Big puck up for Enda Rowland, again down top of Jerry Kelly.
Dermot Ryan trying to sweep it up. McBride kicks it on the ground, but he's dispossessed. It's Cathal Dunbar taking off. Got that brilliant goal in the first half. Spills it. Well, there was 3 Mary I players around him.
Yeah,
they worked so hard.
Yeah, he was trying to be too clever. He tried to play it back inside, but there was no Carlow IT player there.
Released by Morgan.
Yeah, Jason Clear, well read. Great ball out to Jerry Kelly, but probably too much on it.
Yeah, just got away from Kelly. He could have been Usain Bolt and not get to that.
Yeah, there's too much pace on it. Too much pace on it. Right idea though. There's plenty of space out here, and Jerry made a good run, but just too much onto the pass.
Maybe we've just got more used to it, but is it just me, or the wind kind of died down just a tad?
Yeah, it's gone from a storm to a gale, I think.
Talk about taking the positive from the negative. Swung at by Owen Cahill, didn't catch it right, but I'll tell you what, Dermot Ryan did. Foul committed on Fergal Hayes, free out.
Yeah, well defended by Fergal Hayes. That ball was hanging in the air, as you mentioned in the first half. The other side of the wind as well is trying to read the flight of it. And neither player was really sure where it was going to drop, and Fergal Hayes read it and collected the bounce, and well worked free.
Rowland lets fly. Kelly tries to double on that one. Squirted out to Colin O'Brien, who does well. Dunbar tries to dispossess, but nipping in ahead of him was Owen Cahill. Cahill just fires it long. Fergal Hayes chasing after it now. Tim O'Mahony is there. Tim O'Mahony Fancies it from a really tight angle, but he's back to goal.
That's a great score.
What a score by Tim O'Mahony.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they're looking for, you know, that leadership from their, I suppose, one of their key men, you know, their inter-county players. Great point for Tim O'Mahony.
Well, much of the UCC management team are in the Cork backroom team, and if they're watching this one ahead of their own one, they must be rubbing their hands with glee at the prospect of working with Tim O'Mahony this season. Generally a defender with Cork, but...
Yeah, well, the Cork have opted to play him centre-back for the couple of league matches so far, you know, and I mean, look, he's a versatile player. He's well capable of playing in either position, but I suppose maybe Kingston's looking to try and nail down the spine of his team, you know, and...
he's a strong lad as well, so you can understand that.
He is, yeah. He's a tall, rangy player, and he's you know, he's athletic as well. He can cover the ground, so they've opted to go with him a centre back for the moment.
Released by Diarmuid Ryan, who hits it wide. How come Brian Cody never played you up top?
Because he saw him a shooting ability.
Because he's
for good reason. Yeah.
Because he's a good manager. We're about to see a change here. Sub for IT Carlow. I think that's Rory Higgins who's gone. And coming in is Stephen Bergen from Laois. Was named to start but didn't. Good goal getter.
That's fine.
Roland slots it out to Micheál Harney. Harney sends it long.
Good catch by Prendergast again.
Trying to intercept his Lahey, but he couldn't. Really well taken by Owen Cahill. Pops it out to Gary Cooney. Cooney just floats it in front of Tim O'Mahony.
Great ball in front of Tim O'Mahony.
O'Mahony fancies another one. Running off his shoulder was Diarmuid Ryan. He's frustrated that it didn't come to him.
Yeah.
But like, you know, O'Mahony, I think it's fair to say, made the right decision, because that's a good score.
Yeah, that was a well-worked score, you know, and started again from Prendergast in the full-back position, you know, won the ball, played it out nice, and then Cooney getting the ball heads up and just popping it in front of O'Mahony rather than overreaching and trying to go for a point from distance.
Jerry Kelly reaching for it and getting it. Spilling it into the path of Lahey. Taking off brilliantly with Stephen Bergen, or I beg your pardon, not Stephen Bergen, but Shane Ryan. Jason Clear, free out or free in. Out in the sense that he's in his own half, but in the sense that Roland or Casey could score from here. It's a debate we've never had, Brian. When does a free out become a free in? Definitely a free in, because Casey's going to go for this one.
I think that wind is picking up again a bit. I think it's gone back up to a storm.
That's not going to go the distance.
No.
Well, there's an argument to be made that the foul was committed on the IT Carlow forward in there, but the referee is not having it.
Well,
Jamie Wall, the manager of Mary Immaculate College, his brother is on the bench today and actually uses the same helmet that Jamie did when he was playing. He's a coach of some merit. Casey. Bounce pass. Scanlon from Harney. It's broken kindly. It's Dunbar again. Dunbar! Will it sneak in? It's added to it. It's in. Stephen Bergen, I think, got the final touch, but it is a goal for IT Carlow.
Carl Dunbar, with his pace, he's just such a goal threat, you know. And he's one of those guys, as soon as he gets a ball, he's always looking for the goal opportunity, you know. And he did really well. His pace brought him to space, took the shot. Galam was unfortunate, probably should have done a bit better, but well read by Shane Bergen, following the ball in just on the chance that it comes back out. Well taken goal.
Well, we said he was a bit of a poacher. Normally they're a bit classier than that, but they all count.
Absolutely, and you know, in these conditions, you know, the goal is a big score, and it brings Carlow IT, you know, very much back into it. You know, they need to try and push on now a bit, because they've done a lot of the hurling, and Mary I have just...
Cooney sends it out for another line ball. Again, I'll go on about the conditions, but again, I will congratulate both sets of players, because they are actually serving up a really good contest. Lahey sends it long.
Great catch.
That's a good take inside. Blanchfield!
Oh,
Somehow it snuck in. Somehow.
great catch by Blanchfield, and they haven't been doing enough of that. They haven't been delivering the ball into him enough. We mentioned it there at the beginning of the second half where he was going mad because they didn't hit the ball into him. You can see what he can do when the ball does come in. Great catch, and then a great hook. I think it was by one of the Mary Eye defenders, but Blanche then again reacted well and pulled on it.
Kind of caught it on the half volley.
Yeah, great goal.
Yeah, brilliant stuff by Liam Blanchfield. 3-9, plays 14 points in really horrific conditions. So 2 goals in a minute. Can they make it 3? Not for now. Darren Brown cleaned it up. Has a bit of time, has a bit of space. That has been at a premium today. Both of those things, time and space. Tidied up really well by Harney. Scanlon. IT Carlow, if you'll pardon the expression in these conditions, the wind at their backs now. Stephen Bergen lets it off for Chris Nolan. Nolan wandering. Nolan has got a Blanchfield outside, or is it Dunbar? It is Dunbar. Goes himself. Bad decision.
Yeah, and Dunbar is frustrated. He jumped up in frustration. He really should have popped the ball out to him. Unfortunate, he's got the free in anyway. So, but if you had seen Dunbar on his shoulder, maybe he did. Maybe he just chose to go for the score himself. But regardless, they got the free in now. So real purple patch for Carlow IT here at the moment. You know, that's potentially 2-2 they've scored in the last couple of minutes and turned the game on its head here.
Dunbar, Bergen and Blanchfield, 3 established inter-county stars who come up with big goals today.
Yeah, you know, it's a feature of this competition. I think, you know, you're looking for those guys to stand up, you know, and Carlow have a nice balance to them, you know, with their inter-county players across most of the lines on the field. Good score, another good score for James Casey there. So they've gone from a point down now to 5 points up in the space of the last 3-4 minutes.
Mary Eye do not do giving up. Stephen Bergen tries to get it in hand, but he's dispossessed brilliantly by Colin O'Brien. However, they have it back. Jason Clear. Clear still going. Really brave take by Lahey. Jerry Kelly almost looks for contact. Here's Lahey, thought about the shot, then saw there was a free man ahead of him. Jason Clear roaming into a wing forward position.
He continued to run into space, and great. That's a great score.
And that's a really good finish, and it's Chris Nolan of Carlow again.
Yeah, on 1 or 2 occasions it looked like the attack was going to break down, and as you mentioned, Richie Lahey, brave, putting his hand up and regaining possession of the ball for a stray pass from Jason Clear. But Jason did really well coming out of defence there, and then between the two of them and Jerry Kelly worked the ball in for a great score.
We're almost getting to the stage where Mary High will...
Super catch.
Fantastic catch. I was about to say we're almost at the stage where Mary High might consider kind of trying to get closer to goal, go for goals, but I'm not sure that's a switch that you can just flick in a hurling match, is it? As Scanlon goes long. Did too much on that one for Bergen.
Yeah. I think it's Richie Lahey. He's down a late shoulder to the chest after he released the ball, and Carlow IT players weren't too happy about it. The ref's on the word. I think it was Shane Ryan with the late tackle.
Let's hope that Lahey's okay. The final, by the way, on Wednesday night. Not much of a turnaround.
Richie be alright. He's hardly laddie, but we'll let him take it.
You can watch it here, of course. TG Carr. YouTube. The TG Carr YouTube channel. Richie Lahey will hope to be playing and not watching, but at the moment he's down. DJ Carey, his team have gone on a bit of a goal burst in the second half. Something he wasn't unfamiliar with himself. You'd think, oh, DJ's quiet, and then all of a sudden he pops up.
Surely wasn't. He Yeah, we all remember DJ had the fortune of playing with him and the misfortune of playing against him, and that was it. I mean, you could think you might be holding him for a period, and then in the blink of an eye he could have 2 or 3 goals in the back of the net. Exceptional, unbelievable player.
Mahoney trying to get under it. Did well to kind of make contact initially, then he was swarmed upon. Nothing wrong with the work rate of either team, just IT Carlow have been that bit better in the finishing sense. Launched inside by Dermot Ryan, but it's intercepted brilliantly by Micheál Harney.
Yeah, Micheál Harney, even with number 10 on his back, he's actually playing corner back at the moment.
Bit of a loose pull from Dermot Ryan.
Possibly a bit of frustration there. That was Dermot.
Micheál Harney showing his footballing skills there. The football Mahon club where he's from would primarily be a football club, but very decent hurlers as well. Enda Rowland from downtown.
No, left him wide.
And a sat-nav misdirected him. He ended up on the outskirts rather than the square.
Sting's just gone out of the game a little bit in the last 5 minutes. I think the goals have just kind of knocked the wind out of Mary Eye a little bit.
Morgan was looking for O'Mahony, but I think IT Carlow in the last couple of minutes have got the measure of him as Lahey comes roaming forward, has a look around, says I'll stay going. Really excellent hand pass, it's Dunbar, and luckily for them it falls back into the path of Lahey. Great block, really good block. Jerry Kelly sweeps it up. He's got runners left and right, including Scanlon. Went off the hurley and maybe he shouldn't. Josh Considine with a really, really good hook, but again for IT Carlow, it falls that back their way, and Liam Blanchfield is blocked down.
Yeah, it's a great defending by Mary Eye. 3 blocks in a row from Mary Eye there, and you know,
no one can get clean possession, but Liam Blanchfield is trying.
Free in again. Yeah.
Did he buy it?
To be fair, I think it was a free. Just after I said it, great defending from Mary Eye. You know, there's a hurling around the neck of Liam Blanchfield, and I mean the refs.
Let's have a look.
Ref's going to give that all day. Yeah, see, look.
Ah, yeah, he didn't buy it.
Yeah.
So IT Carlow cruising at the moment, although it is just a 6-point gap, which is not that much in hurling.
It's not, but there hasn't been much between these sides all day. The point, really, you know, either way, and in these conditions, you know, it's the first time Carlow IT have opened up a significant lead.
Liam Blanchfield has taken a bit of a knock. And the good thing for these players and the management as well is there is no inter-county matches between now and Wednesday, so they can get a bit of rest in. Obviously there is, I won't say frustration, but it's hard to plan as a manager when you know you've got guys playing for their county, as many of these players did between the quarter-final and today. Yeah,
it's tough on the players. I mean, you know, this is the premier competition at this time of year, and there's an argument for, you know, really, should they be released, you know, should they be left alone for the sake of this competition. You know, I know maybe some counties mightn't be able to get away with it, but certainly, you know, the extent of hands they're carrying nowadays, and for the semi-finals and that, the players need to be looked after. That
the gap is 7, and Mary Eye need goals now. They can get them, we know that. Trying to run onto it here is Owen Cahill. Cahill is ambushed, but he's also fouled.
You know, I mean, Carlow IT, we mentioned, you know, they lost Niall Brazel, you know, through a hamstring injury, and you know, these things will happen, but it's tough on the college teams. You know, they're preparing for this is their championship, and you know, they can lose a really important player which can have a big impact on the championship.
Too early to go for goal from here?
Well, Tim Manny's standing over it, and you know, I'd imagine the reason he's standing over it for.
He's got a hammer shot of his.
He has, yeah, but his body shape indicates he's going to go for take the point.
He's a mix of Anthony Nash and Thor. Here he goes. Oh, takes the point. Big build-up, not such a big follow-up. A bit like Thor and Thor the Dark World.
We're back onto the moves. Any chance you get, you're unbelievable.
I just want to get across the message of how good a striker and then he let me down by not going for it.
Next pub quiz, Oisin, I'm giving you a shout. You're definitely going. You're on my team.
Finally, a Kilkenny man tells me I'm on his team. What an honour. Here's Stephen Bergen. You'd like to have him in Kilkenny. He's crafty, hooked on that particular occasion. Gets it up again, didn't give up on it. Tried to find Jerry Kelly and has. Kelly zips it over.
Yeah, great pass inside from Bergen. You know, good hand pass in. Jerry Kelly was in Akers' face and nicely taken point.
Mary Eye, they just absolutely have to go for goals now. Here's David Prendergast, who's had a decent enough game, although he'll be disappointed that 2 goals were leaked in that second half now. Tidying it up is Diarmuid Ryan. Ray McCormack dropping it in because he knows he has to. Tim O'Mahony is really isolated inside. Mihal Harney took that one out of the sky brilliantly.
Great clearance out to Luke Scanlon here, and Luke's away.
It's a bit open at the back because, as we say, Mary I have to gamble. Seamus Casey lost out on that one, but it's won brilliantly by Dunbar. Dunbar to Bergen. Sweeping it up is Owen Gahan. Owen Gahan, another Laois man making an impact with a good score.
Good score, yeah. And Carlow just stretching that lead a little bit more.
It's kind of strange. It seems like Carlow are going to win comfortably, but it was a tight game for the bulk of it. I think until that third goal went in.
Well, we're just saying at half time, we were surprised when we looked down with a couple minutes to go how close Mary I were, and in fact finished the first half a point ahead, because the feeling was that Carlow IT had done a lot of the hurling and Mary I were kind of staying in it through the free taking of Carl Burke. But as the second half is played out, I think that the hurling that Carlow IT have played is kind of, as they've seen the reward for it on the scoreboard, with the couple of goals, the 2 goals, and probably, probably more of a fair reflection in terms of, I feel anyway, in terms of the overall play that Carlow have done during the match.
Jason Clear down for IT. Carlow shouldn't make too much of a difference now. You just hope he's okay and it's not anything long term.
Doesn't look like anything majorly serious there. I think he's probably just gone down for take a bit of a breather, take the sting out of the match a little bit.
Yeah, he's okay. They're built strong, Kilkenny centre backs. You were no exception, Brian.
Thanks, Oisin, you're so kind.
I thought I'd clarify because you gave me a look that suggested I wasn't talking about you. That was a bit of a nothing ball.
Yeah.
Enda Rowland was going for it, but it kind of trailed off a bit. He's not in any rush back to goal. I think Mary I also know this one is kind of done because, well, that's a big gap to try and make up. We haven't had that much stoppage time. You have to work it. Darren Brown. Chipped forward by Craig Morgan. Gary Cooney tries to run onto it, does well. Cooney essentially crosses it towards O'Mahony because he knew he needed a goal. And it trickles out.
Yeah, it was the right decision. It was a good ball. He had Tim O'Mahony on the edge of the square, and not sure who was just behind him. And look, they need a goal obviously at this stage. And
so a kind of a similar attempt that was completed by Father O'Neill's in the All-Ireland Club Intermediate final. Hankard came in for Father O'Neill's and essentially was on the end of crosses in hurling, which you rarely see.
Right.
But he scored a goal from one.
Well, there was goals flying in left, right and centre in that game. It's hard to keep up with them.
Yeah, it was a cracking game. There is no tactics in hurling. We apologise if you've had a bit of interruption to the picture, but the winds are very, very high here. It is affecting our satellite, and there's very little that one can do about that. Now, IT Carlow have a injured player.
Michael Harney, I think, has just gone off as a sub, and Dion Wall has come on for them, and they also have another player injured. I'm trying to See who it is there. Is this Wreck?
Well, it won't make a difference today, but you can see he doesn't look comfortable. He's putting no pressure on that leg. Colin Dunford, he's a county teammate. One of them where
Casey.
Is it Casey? Oh, Casey.
Casey's going to be a big loss.
Yeah, well, either way, it would be a loss for the final.
Absolutely.
If they're out. Let's hope they're not. Let's hope it looks worse than it is.
Great catch.
Great catch by Jerry Kelly. Slips it out to Dunbar. Dunbar looking to finish with the flourish. Dunbar! Oh, what a strike. He's done it again.
What a goal.
Cathal Dunbar, a goal in the first half, a goal in the second half, and now
a super goal. Great catch by Jerry Kelly. We've seen him do that on numerous occasions for Bursley, and fantastic finish. And I think it's a move that Cathal Dunbar really likes. We've seen 3 goals now, one today and one in the previous match, where he comes in on the left off the left wing, collects the ball, and just really hammers it to the far side of the goal.
Here's Tim O'Mahony up against his opposite, number 7. That, of course, is Downey, who had to switch jerseys.
Flashed the ball across the face of the goal, but there's no one from Mary I really reading it, and Carlow will work it out.
Richie Lahey, Scanlon, trying to get away from Considine. He's fouled at the free out, and there's an awful lot of frustration. Well, it's tough for Mary I. Got to the final last year, lost out, have won it in the past, and they won't be back in the final this year. I think there's a lot of those players out there today who played last year and who felt, yes, UCC are a great team, but they let themselves down in last year's final and they wanted to show what they're really about. But they won't get that chance, unfortunately, for them. They've had some great days in this competition this season, including the Limerick Derby win in the quarter-final. Roland drops it in. Oh, that's a beautiful finish. I think it fell down to, was it Dunbar or Chris Nolan? Either way, a great goal for IT Carlow. It's Chris Nolan.
Chris Nolan, yeah, great reaction. Ball just popped back and great finish.
Chris Nolan from Carlow. Mount Leinster Rangers. Scanlon. Bergen probing again. It's actually a pity for Mary I that the scoreline looks like this, because it hasn't been that big of a gap between these two for most of the game. I'm not denying IT Carlow were the better team, but certainly Mary I were better than the scoreline suggests.
Yeah, I think it's swung the other way now, where we felt at half time probably the score possibly didn't reflect the play that Carlow IT had done. But this half, with the goals going in, it's not doing Mary I justice. I mean, the game is certainly closer than, what are we now? Jesus, we're nearly
29 points to 15.
Yeah, so nearly double score, which poor silent cutout.
Nolan, who's not long off the bench, 4 minutes of injury time played. In fairness to the referee, he has to play the allotted time, much as he, as everyone else, I think, would like it to end now, if for no other reason, the bitter cold in that wind. And Brian, you get to head off now, don't you?
Was it your idea to take the glass out of the front of this shed, was it?
It was.
I'm not blaming anyone, but I just wanted to...
If Cody knew how soft you had gone, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I'm grand here, you're the one shivering.
The referee has blown the final whistle, and IT Carlow have cruised into the final. 5-14 the final score against 15 points for Mary I and Brian Hogan. I think it's fair to say that while the scoreline is a little bit deceptive, IT Carlow were the better team.
There's no doubt about it. Carlow IT were the better team. We felt even at half time when they went in a point down that they had done more of the hurling, but on the other side, I don't think they were almost double scores the better side. I think that's been harsh on Mary I, but look, certainly Carlow IT now progressed to the final, and we'll offer a stiff challenge to whoever they face, be it DCU or UCC. They've, as we mentioned, a really nice balanced team. They've county players sprinkled throughout all the lines on the pitch, and still they'll be well prepared by Mick Dempsey and DJ Carey for that final on Wednesday. And they had the experience of a couple of years ago as well, so huge opportunity for them now to go one step further and win the competition for the first time. But yeah, over the course of the game today, they're they were the better team for sure.
Well, you've said that IT Carlow were the better team. Let's have a look at some of their best bits of this match.
With all things considered, we've talked about the conditions and the gale force winds. You know, the free taking of both Colburke and Casey was outstanding. And you can see on both, you know, here in the highlights, you know, Colburke and you know, really difficult free. Tim O'Mahony, you know, probably didn't do this enough, and maybe it was due to the really good defending by Carlow IT. But you know, a super score, and again here out front showing for the ball, and the ball popped in front of him and over the bar, and he's a sweet striker of a ball. Carlow IT, the other end of the field, Carl Dunbar, you know, we've seen this on numerous occasions. You know, he's using his pace, you know, and reading the play, coming in off the left and the left wing, and a great shot, saved by Galan, but well read, I think, by was a Bergen who forced the ball over the line. You know, and Galan will probably be disappointed. You know, it was pretty much straight at him, and he probably, you know, should have done better with it. But yeah. We see Carlow would have forced the run through Liam Blanchfield, you know, and good hook initially by Mary I, but Blanche catching it on the half volley, and there's no chance you're going to stop him from that range. Great catch as well, you know, for that goal. The hook there, you can see it, and then catches on the double. But that's what Liam Blanchfield offers you, and Jerry Kelly up front. You know, they're both really strong in the air and physical players, and you know, they're a real direct goal threat. Again, Casey with another, I suppose, relatively easy free compared to some of the frees he had today. And a great passage of play from Carlow IT where Richie Lahey, Jason Clear, Jerry Kelly worked the ball out of the defence, and ultimately, you know, a good score for Liam Blanchfield. Tim O'Mahony was standing over. We thought maybe he might go for a goal at this stage during the match, but decided to put it over the bar. But Carlow IT came again, great hand pass by Carl Dunbar, and Jerry Kelly putting the ball over the bar. You know, it was very good during the day, very direct, you know, an abrasive player, and in these conditions you need those kind of guys up front. And again, a lovely point, just stroking it over the bar, letting the wind do the work. Cooney for Mary I. The match is really over at this stage, and they're looking for a goal, playing it across the face of the goal. And again, Carl Dunbar coming in off the left wing, absolute rocket of a shot, brilliant finish, you know, and just, I suppose, putting the icing on the cake for Carlow IT, you know, at that stage. The match was done and dusted then. And then again, another great reaction from Carlow IT, long ball in. Mary I just didn't deal with it properly, batting it back out. I mean, you can't do that. You can't bat the ball back out in the middle of the goal. You need to claim it either with the hand or out to the wing. And great reactions out of I think it was Bergen there, and you know, hung it in the back of the net.
Thank you very much, Brian Hogan. IT Carlow have reached the Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup final for the second time in their history. I'm joined by their manager, DJ Carey. DJ, first of all, how does it feel to be back in a Fitzgibbon Cup final?
Sure, it's brilliant. You know, we were under pressure for a long time there. Maybe until the last 10 minutes we got a couple of goals, but it's brilliant. You know, we wouldn't have big numbers to pick from. We happen to have a good crop of players this year again, and look, we're thrilled. It's absolutely brilliant.
The goal burst in the second half is what did it. Yes, he got a couple towards the end, but it was those two goals in a minute, in around minutes 45 and 46. That's kind of what set the platform for the canter home. Yeah, look,
I suppose the scoreline will read 5-14 to 15 points. Those two were, at that stage, it probably broke the back in Mary I. Like up to that, I think they were a point, maybe even two up at one stage there in the second half. So we were under a little bit of pressure. There's fierce strong wind, and look, if this game, I'm not sure it's on the television, obviously, if I'm talking to you on the television, but there's a fierce wind right across the field. It's not favouring anyone. So, you know, there was a few wides and big wides at once at a few times. But look, at the end of the day, we're now ready for a Fitzgibbon final on Wednesday night. So it's absolutely brilliant.
You've got a spine of strength in your team. A lot of your starting 15 are established inter-county players. How big an advantage is that in Fitzgibbon Cup hurling?
Look, it's great. You have to have a spine somewhere, and the spine doesn't necessarily mean from one county. But if you have 5 Kilkenny players, and it doesn't matter if it's 5 Carlow or 5 Laois, if you have a spine from the one county, we happen to have, I think it's 12 between 3 counties this year. So that's a brilliant spine to have, because lads know each other. They're going to school with each other, but they're also playing either all the way up along with their counties or certainly on senior teams, and that's great in itself. They may not have the huge profile of other players, but certainly they're very good players.
And you don't know at this stage who you're going to face, as I almost get blown away. I'm sure you'll watch with interest UCC and DCU Docasharon, which is off at 4 o'clock. But to get there, that's the big thing, and it's a quick turnaround. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Look, it's not a great thing if you have injuries. It's a good thing because there's huge momentum now over a short period of time. There's not a huge build up to it. If we have injuries, which we will have after today, we're going to do our very best to get them right. We'll sit back and look. I don't think it really matters who we're playing. These are the two kingpins of Fitzgibbon this year. They're the big two. Ourselves and Mary I avoided them today. We're very lucky and delighted to be in a final. But we'll have to certainly do serious homework on one of these.
Well, DJ, I'm sure you're going to hang around for the second game for now. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you and IT Carlow back in the Electric Ireland Fitzgibbon Cup final for the second time in the college's history. Of course, the footballers got to the final in the Sigerson. Back here on Wednesday night. That will be live on Sport TG Carr's YouTube page. But you can stay here for the second today's semi-finals. It's UCC against DCU Docasharon. We're on air at 5 to 4. The game itself throws in at 4. Nikki English will be joining us for commentary of that match. I'm surrounded by brilliant former hurling forwards today, and one good back as well, and Brian Hogan, who's with you for the first game. Thank you for watching for now, but we'll be back soon, so stay with us.